Welcome to the Explainer. Now, if you're looking for sustainable, highly profitable ventures, you might want to rethink what you know about emerging markets. Today, we're bringing you a strategic pitch targeting potential investors on some seriously high-yield opportunities in Bangladesh's industrial sector. We'll be breaking down operations that are totally primed for rapid scaling and, more importantly, significant returns.
Our roadmap today covers 5 main areas: the macro opportunity, a spotlight on high-growth sectors, capital and infrastructure needs, factory setup and recruitment, and scaling with strategic partners.
Let's start with Section 1, the macro opportunity, why Bangladesh is Asia's next manufacturing powerhouse. Okay, think about this number for a second. 170 million people. That is a massive domestic demographic, and it's driving rapid urbanization and really fueling an expanding middle class. So, what does this mean for an investor? Well, it means an exploding demand for value-added manufacturing. We're moving way beyond just traditional trading here. It's a landscape that's literally ripe for industrial innovation.
Moving on to Section 2, Spotlight on High-Growth Sectors, where we'll validate the viability of import substitution and exports.
First up, let's talk about solar panel mounting structures. Right now, these are heavily imported. But you know, that bottleneck actually presents a huge opportunity for local manufacturing. Every single new solar installation out there requires galvanized steel or aluminum structures. By setting up manufacturing locally, investors can directly supply solar EPC companies, large-scale industrial projects, and real estate developers who are absolutely desperate for faster localized turnaround times. It's a real game changer.
To actually capture that market, you're going to need a specific setup. We're talking about an actionable arsenal here: precision CNC cutting and hydraulic bending machines, paired up with dedicated punching, welding, and high-quality galvanizing and powder coating equipment. Getting this infrastructure in place essentially allows you to become the go-to local supplier and truly capitalize on the massive growth we're seeing in solar energy installations.
Next up is the healthcare sector. Hospitals, diagnostic centers, clinics, they all consume enormous quantities of disposables. We're talking millions of units every single week. Yet the country still relies heavily on imported medical supplies. The big opportunity here is shifting this dynamic toward local manufacturing to fulfill an incredibly consistent, high-volume domestic demand.
To make that shift a reality, you need a highly efficient non-woven fabric processing setup. By investing in mask-making machines, ultrasonic sealing, precision cutting, and packaging machines, and of course strict sterilization equipment, investors can rapidly scale local production. You can seamlessly produce things like surgical masks, gowns, and bed sheets to meet that immediate, perpetual domestic need.
Finally, our third sector spotlight is halal processed food. Currently, there's a largely untapped halal processing market locally, but the opportunity here is actually brilliantly dual-pronged. It presents an immediate import substitution play for local consumers, while at the exact same time unlocking a multi-billion-dollar opportunity to transform operations into a global export hub, servicing places like the Middle East, Europe, and Africa.
Now, supplying these vast markets with frozen foods, ready-to-eat meals, and processed meat means you have to invest in heavy-duty industrial food processing lines, commercial freezers, advanced packaging systems, and really robust cold storage logistics. Because this isn't just about food, right? It's about adding incredible value to local agricultural output and scaling it up for massive global consumption.
Section 3, Capital and Infrastructure Needs. Let's analyze the hard metrics for investment.
So, breaking down the investment ranges in Bangladeshi taka reveals just how scalable these operations are. Whether it's solar mounting starting at 50 lakh, medical disposables at 1 crore, or halal food manufacturing scaling all the way up to 20 crore, your factory footprint and headcount can grow in perfect tandem with your initial capital. It's a highly adaptable model, really designed for measured, profitable scaling.
Section 4, Factory Setup and Recruitment, the Operational Roadmap.
Executing these ventures follows a pretty clear phase-based roadmap. Step 1 is space acquisition and machinery setup, basically getting those essential physical assets firmly in place. Step 2 shifts focus to human capital, recruiting an initial workforce ranging anywhere from 15 to 150 employees, depending on your chosen sector. And then Step 3 is locking in commercial due diligence and strategic mentorship to ensure the operation is actually built for sustainable long-term growth.
Which brings us to Section 5, Scaling with Strategic Partners, specifically execution on the ground with T&IME.
Managing this whole multi-step execution, navigating unique local market dynamics, and then scaling into international markets, well, it's a massive undertaking.
And that's where local expertise becomes absolutely crucial. Trade and Investment Bangladesh, or TNIB, provides an exact end-to-end consulting framework for this process. Their services range broadly from business mentorship and market entry assistance to really precise buyer-seller matchmaking and commercial due diligence. They act as that vital bridge between your high-level investment strategy and localized, frictionless market execution.
And we actually have some feedback from current international diaspora clients that perfectly validates this approach. To quote Mustafiza Rahman, the founder and CEO of CanBiz Inc. in Canada, TNIB's commitment to quality execution and ethical practice makes them a reliable partner for organizations seeking sustainable growth and cross-border collaboration. It really is all about having a reliable partner who inherently understands both what global investors expect and what the local operational realities are. TNIB explicitly positions itself not just as a transactional advisor, but as a long-term partner in sustainable growth. They are dedicated to overcoming local market complexities. And honestly, more importantly, this means they're committed to the execution phase, just as much as the strategy phase, working to ensure highly measurable business outcomes for your industrial venture.
So we've covered the macro environment, explored the massive domestic demand, identified some highly viable manufacturing sectors, and detailed the scalable capital requirements. With an expert local partner ready to execute, the only question left for you as an investor is, are you ready to claim your stake in Asia's next emerging market? Take some time to process these numbers and think about the sheer scalability of these opportunities. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.